2 years ago, I was invited here to talk about our experiences and learnings with our transmedia storytelling project called One Child. If you recall, it was a groundbreaking thriller novel that used immersive transmedia storytelling and social media to push narrative. The project, or project as you say in the US, made a lot of waves. It was even a finalist for the Publishers Innovation Award last year, losing out to Random House's book called Decoded by Jay-Z, or JZ as we refer to him in Canada. We did win a few awards, received critical acclaim. By all accounts, we created a really good book and earned a solid reputation amongst others operating within the transmedia world, which was really good. Despite all the accolades, however, at the end of the day, we really didn't see strong sales. We were in every sales channel online. In fact, we were pretty much everywhere you could expect to find an ebook. We were everywhere you could expect a book, except for brick and mortar retail. A lack of sales caught us off guard, and as our author had a good history of sales and pretty good sell-through when put into the grocery and mass channel stores with his previous thriller novels, it was a bit of a surprise. So the problem was part distribution and part discovery. To make that painfully clear, we learned that without distribution to retail stores, there really was no discovery outside of a very narrow selection of books in the online channels. After careful analysis, we figured that this was our problem, being a small, unknown publisher from the sticks. But after Books and Browsers in 2010, having many discussions with industry professionals and the people here, we learned that really it was a problem that was being faced by all publishers. So, 1 week after returning from this conference, we came up with an idea of how we could introduce discovery of ebooks to physical retail stores. It wasn't an entirely new idea, but it had only been tried in bookstores. For this to really solve the problem, we need to put ebooks where people are. So, we didn't just focus on bookstores. We went after mass and grocery channel stores and included bookstores, the whole retail solution. After 2 years of development and a lot of meetings with retailers and publishers, we formed some great partnerships and launched a resilient and a sustainable sales channel for publishers. This new sales channel is split into two categories or verticals. Retail, which is our gift card product being sold in physical stores, and wholesale, which is providing bulk ebook gift cards to publishers to distribute through their own means, sometimes referred to as special sales or promotions. This sales channel is built around our delivery system, which we've called the Endpaper engine. In traditional bindery terms, the Endpapers are what contains the content, which we felt it was quite fitting. The Endpaper engine delivers DRM-free content as well as our cross-platform DRM solution, which we've named Pachyderm. Through this, we're able to deliver ebooks to any device. We are device agnostic and have to be in order to appeal to a mass audience. This is critical. Grocery stores don't sell milk based on the type of fridge you have. They just sell milk. So as I mentioned, we launched this new sales channel in June of this year, and I wanted to share some of the findings and results that we've learned. And first, let me explain how we sell ebooks in retail stores. Using similar manufacturing processes to books, although with a lot more QA involved, we print our product. Each card has to be scanned 7 times individually before it's allowed into a grocery store. Using the exact same warehousing and distribution channels, we distribute our product. And using the exact same merchandising teams that are facing books and magazines in stores today, we present our product at retail for consumers. Using the exact same methods as the gift card industry, we have a product that stores immediately know how to handle and that customers are used to seeing and interacting with. In essence, we've created a new product that the customer is already familiar with. Our cards are part of the fastest growing segment in the gift card industry, which is known as downloadable content. And I know we don't like the word content, but it's what it is. We have provided some samples of our cards in the lobby here today. Please help yourself after the presentations are done, so there's a free ebook waiting on the table out there. An interesting part to that is that I carried 100 books in my carry-on, so that's pretty nice. So I think that gives you a snapshot of what we're doing. Let's get down to some numbers. So we launched on June 8th through 112 physical retail outlets, as identified on the graph here. Our partners included the Canadian Booksellers Association with 10 stores across the country, 31 Max convenience stores, and 71 grocery stores made up of Sobeys, Co-op, and Safeway. Now, although we do have an online purchasing component, it is not the focus of our business. We've set it up primarily to accommodate exchanges for customers that have received duplicate books. Our focus is on generating ebook sales at retail stores. There's enough people doing a good job of selling books online. Our commitment to retailers goes far beyond that, though. We reward our online sales to individual stores through a patent-pending tracking system that we've created. When we look at a physical product, it's important to understand shrink, or loss of inventory to theft. And we conducted store audits on 2 separate occasions to determine a number of things: placement in the store, the display, how well it looked, merchandised, if they were following the schematics that were sent out to the stores. But as well, we did inventory counts. And when we analyzed the data, we had virtually no shrink. And that tells us that people understand that they are exactly like gift cards and that there's no value on the card until they've been activated by the cashier through the store's POS system. In the case of the digital assets, we had none because it's impossible to download anything through our site without a redemption code or an account sign-in. So before the next bit of information, I need to provide you with a little context on the Canadian market. And this is what the device penetration looks like right now in Canada. It's about 10% of the market have dedicated e-readers, 10% have tablets, and 24% have smartphones. And I indicated the iOS numbers there just for interest's sake. Now, we don't know how many people are reading on iOS devices exactly, so this one is our best guess, hence the question marks. But as you can see, these numbers are very different from the US market. Canadians like their Kobo, and they like Sony. The lack of retail distribution affects more than just ebooks, and you'll see that Nook is missing from this slide. They are considered amongst the other devices. So here's what our redemptions look like based on our sales over, 3 months over the summertime, and compared to what the market is for device penetration. And there's a couple of surprises. One is Sony, and the other is iOS devices. So on iOS devices, nearly 40% of the people that downloaded books through our system were using iOS. When we look at total redemptions to date, after 5 months, we're at about 39% redeemed. 15% were redeemed on the same day as purchase. And that was a bit of a surprise to us. That tells us that those are the people that are making the purchase are also downloading it for themselves, which tells us there's a market for impulse purchases outside of the gifting market that we've identified as being the real winner here. 1 to 5 days, about 8 or 9%, and then it drops down, and then over 30 days. So after 5 months, about 39%. When we look at our redemption model prediction, we're estimating that we're going to have an 87% redemption on all sales. And this is very indicative of the gift card industry. And we're in 5 months so far, and it's been fairly accurate. And we'll adjust this as we continue on. So let's have a look at the grocery channel. Here's what our displays look like in the store. These are Safeway stores. And as you can see, this far one is right at the check stands. This one is between the books and the diapers. So, but there's books there. Distribution, so anyways, that's what our displays look like. We launched in the market with temporary displays. The temporary displays came out about a month ago, and we're now retrofitting stores with permanent display stands. When we look at the distribution that we sent out to grocery channel, we selected 4 titles to do our market evaluation with. And they're identified here. And as the distribution, so we did twice as many fiction as we did romance and twice as many memoir as nonfiction. So when we look at the sales were pretty close to those numbers as well, but so 25% fiction, 19 on romance, 23 nonfiction. If we compare that to what was sent out for overall sales, it was pretty even across the board for sales versus what was displayed. But if we look at the sales as a percentage of distribution, this is where we see the real numbers in nonfiction and romance. Romance does well traditionally online, but nonfiction, we believe that that is as a result of our gifting presence in the store. So our go-to-market is really about gifting, and giving a nonfiction book makes sense, that's something that would make a good gift. We're doing a lot of content testing over the next few months, and we'll have a lot more to share in that regard. So let's have a look at bookstores. This is what our displays look like in bookstores. We distributed a total of 9 titles as a launch as part of our market evaluation bookstores. The store on the far right, you can see they've merchandised at the bottom with the actual print copies of the ebooks as well. And then this one here is right as soon as you walk into the store, the first thing you see is ebooks. So how we distributed genre and how they were merchandised in the planograms and schematics for the displays are indicated here. Fiction, romance, young adult, memoir, historical, a thriller, a nonfiction, and a nature book. So here's the sales by genre in the bookstores, and pretty close to what was distributed. And if we look at them compared to how we distributed, this is how it looks. Red is the sales, and gray is the distribution. When we look at sales as a percentage of distribution, again, these are the real numbers, and the nature book here did very well. The memoir, romance, and fiction. So there's some interesting statistics here that we are getting a better understanding of the content that works within retail, and as we're seeing, it is a bit different in bookstores than grocery and mass, but I think that's pretty obvious. So if we look at sales by channel, how did one type of retailer do comparatively to others? And I guess first we should show some context to see what the Canadian book market looks like. Online retail is 28%, grocery and mass is 32%, bookstores is 37%, and other is 4%. Canadian book sales are now 16.3% of the overall book market in Canada. And this is what the distribution of overall sales looked like in our market evaluation. 63% at grocery, 7% through the convenience channel, and 30% through bookstores. But when we look at sales volume per store, the picture's a little bit different. We had bookstores making up 73% of the sales on a store-by-store basis, which means that bookstores outperform mass 3 times. Now, the reason for that, we believe, is attributed to the one-on-one salesmanship and the fact that when a person walks into a bookstore, they're under the guise of actually buying a book. So they're looking for books. That's what they're doing when they walk into that establishment. And we've given them another option with this program. So we're taking this information, doing a series of small market tests in a number of different retail stores to better understand our content mix, what type of titles will work in stores, which ones are going to be the best in which market. We see that there's a lot of opportunity for doing bundled content because it's a gifting type of product. And we're going to be expanding in new markets, including the US and international, over the coming year. This is what the displays look like. The retrofitted displays and the stands look like in the stores, and they're permanent, as well as the book tables. So we're merchandising ebooks with print books to give the consumer the choice between the two. And our retail partners have committed to providing this permanent shelf space because they believe in what we're doing, and they believe it's going to be a winner, and it's an opportunity for them to participate in the retail channel without having to make any infrastructure investment. So over the next 12 to 18 months, we are going to be scaling what we've built like mad. And that is my presentation. So it's been an incredible journey, and we've had a lot of help from many of the people in this room even. Through this conference, I've made a great many friends, and I'd like to take a moment and thank Books and Browsers for the opportunity to be involved in what always feels like the most incredible gathering of minds. A big thank you to Brewster and everyone at the archive for being such gracious hosts. Peter Brantley, amazingly talented guy, pulls this awesome conference together year after year, bringing some of the best minds in the industry. And even though they make it look effortless, I know that Peter and Kapmeyer O'Reilly Media put a lot of work into this, and it really shows. So thank you both so much for allowing me to be a part of it all. Thank you. Any questions? Yeah. Have we tried this with children's books? We have not. We are going to market in about 3 to 4 weeks with some children's titles, single titles and bundled content. And we will be in grocery stores for Christmas this year to test those titles out. So we hope to share those results as well. I think that's it. All right. Thank you.